Hello and welcome to our FBLA business presentation. We are going to be competing in business ethics. The year is 2021 and the topic is, should businesses be held responsible for the preservation of our planet? This presentation is going to be presented by myself, Kendall Richter, and by my partner, Logan Cockerham.
So to answer the question, businesses should definitely practice methods that protect the environment. From an environmentally perspective point of view, it is definitely very beneficial and to the environment itself. But to a financially point of view, it isn't the smartest choice, but it does have some negative or positive effects on the business. Some positive effects we'll start off with are it actually improves business reputation, especially with the younger youth, because it is environmentally awareness is definitely a trend at the moment, and the youth are definitely on board with this. So if a business like Apple, they will definitely jump on to that business, and it'll definitely attract employees and investors of the youth, and actually be very beneficial to the company. It can also reduce the cost of production over time, just not right away. And it also reduced waste, such as reusing and recycling materials. Some negative effects, though, this is from the financial point of view. It is very expensive at first, especially installing solar panels or windmills and the batteries to help collect that energy is very difficult to experience or plan with, especially for windmills because you need a large area or terrain to install these with. Another negative effect is that not all investors or personnel might agree with these sustainable actions because they're thinking from a financial perspective. And if you tell your investors they will not have a high capital return at first for these sustainable actions, then they will definitely or most likely differ away from your company and you will lose money over time. But in the long run, it will have a very, very positive effect.
We came up with a couple ways to ethically improve businesses. Our first idea was installing solar panels onto buildings of operations. We believe this would be extremely useful and extremely good for businesses to start using because solar panels are actually a renewable energy source and there's no limit to the sun. So there's always going to be sunlight in order for solar panels to work and in order for energy to be put into these operations. Additionally, solar panels are actually extremely cost effective. Installing them might be a little bit expensive, but at the end of the day, you don't have to keep paying for energy, and it's extremely cheap at the end of the day to continue using it, and it doesn't produce greenhouse gases into our earth like other sources of energy do.
Our second idea was going full digital. This means such as sending helplines or emergency lines those employees home. It'd be very cheap for the company because you just have to send them home and you're just paying their salary instead of paying for or renting out a building. It is also easier for the employees so they don't have to travel from their home to their work, which also reduces CO2 emissions. An example of this is students going full digital for school. It actually reduced the CO2 emissions greatly last year. We were during quarantine. There were a few bumps though, but over time it'll definitely hammer out those issues.
Another idea we came up with was to start changing to LED lights. We think that LED lights would definitely be extremely beneficial to businesses and help them with their practices and ethics. Using LED lights actually is a fraction of the greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide that other light fixtures produce. So using these LED lights would be a lot better for our earth. Additionally, they can also be cheaper than other sources of light, and we just think that using LED lights would be really good for businesses to help with their impact on the earth.
Our last idea was to recycle or reuse materials such as paper or other materials. In 2020, last year, only 32% of Americans actually recycled, and when you think about that, that is very low. So if businesses actually participate in recycling, it would spike up this percent and have a huge effect on whether we mine resources and cutting down trees, which produces CO2 and definitely has a negative effect on the environment.
One example of a company that uses ethically sustainable practices is Apple. 100% of their phones are recycled. This is really good because they don't use more natural resources than necessary by needing to produce more phones. And in addition, they don't have to use as much carbon dioxide or as much greenhouse emissions, which is what it takes to produce the phones. Instead, they can just use the recycled phones they already have, which is exactly what they're doing. In 2030, manufacturing suppliers will be 100% renewable/clean energy. This is really good because, again, it is minimizing their carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases that are being put into the world by this company. They're also paving the way for other companies to start practicing these ethics and showing that it can be done. All offices, business travels, data centers, and Apple stores are now called carbon neutrals, which again is extremely good because it's reducing the carbon dioxide in our earth and in turn reducing climate change effects. In summary, we believe that businesses should have the responsibility of practicing environmentally friendly ideas. This is really important because the environment needs to be protected, and the environment and earth is where these companies live and breathe. Positive effects and implications of using these practices are many. There are lots of positive effects, and it is also paving the way for individuals and other small companies to start using these practices. Although there are many implications or roadblocks that can stop businesses from practicing these sustainable ideas, it's extremely important for them to do it, and this planet is their planet, where these companies live and breathe. So it's extremely important that they get past the financial aspects.
Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions? These are all the sources we used for our presentation. Please take a look. Thank you for listening again, and have a great day.
Thank you.